We're very happy today to have Mingyu, our senior partner in China, who leads our auto sector for us, to give us an update on what is electric vehicles, the industry in China. So Mingyu, tell us what's happening 2024. What is the state of the industry of electric vehicles in China?
Yeah, I think overall the industry is going in I would say in a very fast moving speed. The overall market I think will continue at roughly 5 to 6% year-over-year growth as the overall volume. Within that, EV is going to continue on the penetration increase trends. We have seen roughly over 30% last year. I think just beginning this year, the first quarter, we have already been seeing close to 40%.
So 40% of all new cars are electric vehicles in China.
And if we look at some of the cities, that number can even approach in 50%.
And how's the competition and how's the pricing competition in China?
I think the competition has been very, very intense over the last couple of years. I think the fundamental reason is, everybody realized this is probably one of the, chance over the last decades to, really reinvent or, restructure what has been there for, almost the past 100 years. Right? So every brand, I think they are finding their way in order to squeeze the market share. And, obviously pricing is a key lever that they can use on top of, having innovative products as well having a new brand.
But in this pricing, right, how does it work? Because if everyone is thinking the same way, right, and there's over 60, 70 OEMs in China all trying to, become the new Tesla, right? Yeah. So does that cause massive cost, pressures and unprofitability for everyone in the industry?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think, we actually recently published our research paper, and, not surprisingly, scale is very important. And I think that's also the fundamental reason that all these OEM, the new OEM, they are trying to reach scale as fast as they can. So I think, they all believe the pricing is a quicker way, but obviously, everybody needs to also control the cost and finding a path to a sustainable profitability.
Now, part of that thinking has to be that if the China market is so competitive, we're not making a lot of money here, we've got a lot of capacity, then we got to sell to the rest of the world, right? So the overseas market has to be part of the plan, or at least the aspiration for these OEMs. How are they thinking about the overseas market?
I think every OEM today, I would say, have a higher aspiration about the market beyond China. Obviously, I think they need to really learn that is a new game that is probably a little strange to most of them who have been very used to the domestic markets. But for sure, it's one of the key levers that they have to go overseas. They have to test it out in other markets.
Are these Chinese brands really going to penetrate markets like in Europe, where they have been driving their own cars for so many years? Right, the Chinese brands come in. How are they going to fight with the local guys? From a branding, from a proposition perspective, right? Are they competitive in these markets?
First of all, if you look at some of the regional markets, let's take a Latin American example, right? Some of those country markets where the Chinese brand is actually already taking more than 30% of market share. So there is a fair recognition of the performance in some markets. Obviously, every region is different. And for anyone who's now going overseas, we believe there's a couple elements they need to get right? Number one is the product. They need to understand what is the local consumer preference and how they can tailor the product, for the local market. I think second is, really working with the local partners, be it, the dealer groups, be it, the local different stakeholders, right? I think third, I think most of these Chinese companies will also need to learn how to work with global talent. Right? I think, they have been always, working domestically. It's a different ball game. And lastly, I think is also, there is a fundamental question about, you mentioned the brands, what the brand actually stands for and how that can be taken by the consumer in different regions. I think it's a, evergreen question for all these players.
With these 60, 70 OEMs in China, that certainly cannot be sustainable, right? So over the next couple of years, what do you think is going to happen? Are they going to be a massive, consolidation? Are they going to go out of business? Are they going to be acquired by foreign brands? What's going to happen in this sort of massive bloodbath right now happening in the EV market in China?
Well, I think the short answer is, what you just described is all going to happen. I think if you look at, the consolidation ratio, the top 10 groups in the mature market would occupy roughly 90% of market share. That number in China is 70%. So I think the domestic consolidation is probably going to happen faster in the next 2 to 3 years. And then whoever is coming out as, the winning group will eventually also taking their share in other regions.
Right. I think we're still very much in the first innings of this electric vehicle journey.
Absolutely.
So let's have, periodic updates on what's happening. But I do think that, first this, supply demand imbalance, right? With all the supply coming on, is going to cause massive price erosion, right? And that unprofitability will have to lead to some kind of consolidation, right? I think that clearly this is unsustainable, right? And really look forward to how those pan out, right? And hopefully the winners will come out much stronger, right? And the industry will look, a lot more healthier in the future.
Absolutely. It'll be very exciting years ahead.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mingyu.
Thank you, Joe.